Well, you're listening to Monday with the Mayor here on 18 WJTS, and today we are on the phone with Ferdinand Town Manager Chris James. Thanks for joining us today. So, Chris, we'll start off with how is the town doing with the COVID-19 pandemic? How are your residents handling it?
Well, we're taking it day by day, trying as best as we can with our workforce to social distance. If work crews are closely together, they are to wear masks. If they're working on a particular project where they are close together, if they are on an individual assignment, we're not requiring the masks be worn. That works whether they're on a particular job or if they're in their break room. Most of the break room space is fairly close quarters, so they either wear masks or what some of them have been doing is kind of modifying their break space where they create extra room so they don't have to. Our town hall remains closed to the public, at least through the doors. Drive-through and drop-box access is still there, but we're going to keep town hall closed off right now up until May 24th. So basically the Memorial Day holiday. Once we come back from that, the plan is to reopen town hall. It would be Tuesday the 26th of May is when town hall would open back up to the public. We're taking action for our various council meetings and BZA and Plan Commission meetings, Park Board sessions, Economic Development Commission, our bigger meetings, which is Town Council, Plan Commission, and BZA. We will actually be holding those meetings for the months of May, June, and July. We're going to be holding those in the Ferdinand Community Center because that will allow us the proper spacing for the public to attend, have council on hand, have our department heads available, as well as accommodating the media and any other individuals who are interested in attending the meetings. Folks will be asked to wear a mask when they attend these meetings. Bring their own if they already have a mask. Bring their own. That's perfectly fine. If not, we'll provide one. We will also be doing a temperature test for everyone who comes in. If they are in the good zone, I'll call it, they're welcome to find one of the available seats set up and partake in the meeting. If their temperature is deemed to be too high, they will not be able to attend in person. We will be making available, I don't have the information yet, but we will be making available our Zoom meeting coordinate. As you well know, the last couple of meetings that we've had, the media has actually participated via Zoom. We'll be making that option open to the public, so if somebody is curious about what's going on at a particular meeting, be it town council or the Board of Zoning Appeals or Plan Commission, and they don't want to physically come, they can go onto their device and click the link to attend the Zoom meeting, and they'll be able to watch it from the safety of their home or wherever they happen to be watching it at, and not have to worry about being amongst the other public. So we're doing our best to accommodate the public and our employees to do as much as we can. A lot of jobs, you've been hearing about it, folks are working from home, doing the telecommute. If you have that type of job, that's awesome.
And with the Heimat Fest being canceled, how will that impact the city?
Well, the Heimat Fest is the Ferdinand Heimat Fest, but it is not a town sanctioned event, as in through the town of Ferdinand. Heimat Fest is they're their own independent entity. They coordinate with the town. We try to help them out where we can on various items. If they need extra trash receptacles or some things shifted around, we'll try to accommodate them where we can. Obviously, in past years when they held most activity at 18th Street Park, we made certain we had the park nice and mowed and trimmed and ready to go for when Heimat Fest kicked in. This year, it's kind of an ironic situation. Last year's Heimat Fest, we had a lot of severe weather, and they had to basically wipe out their main musical entertainment for both nights. And when it wasn't storming, it was a very, very hot June period. This year, they had planned ahead of time to actually shift most activities other than the music inside to the Ferdinand Community Center. So if it's raining, they're inside and dry. If it's hot, they're inside and cool. And in any other regular year, that's perfectly fine. This year, with the close quarters and the various stages that the governor has come out with in terms of how many people can be gathered at a particular location on a particular day, the time frame didn't work right for Heimat Fest to go forward. They tried every way they could to figure how to keep it going this year, but it just did not work right with the governor's timing in terms of the available date to go to a larger amount of people. And the community center, again, even though it is ideal for weather situations, the spacing wouldn't have worked for social distancing in terms of the 6 foot of spacing. It just would not have worked very well. It would have had a small crowd at best, and even outside for the music entertainment, again, you still have to do the social distancing. Even though you're outside, there's still, you have to keep the spacing every 6 feet and everything, and it just was not going to be the best situation. So they made a very hard decision to cancel. I know they're already kind of putting some plans together, working toward the 2021 event, and try to come back even better than before. So it's a disappointment in that regard, but it was something where they just did not feel they could take that chance because it would have been one of the first events, festivals, activities where larger numbers could attend, and with everybody chomping at the bit to get outside from the lockdown and the stay-at-home order, they just did not want to take that chance of having a fairly large crowd, even if they were able to control the numbers, and run that risk of people being impacted in a negative sense through the virus. So they made the decision to call it off for this year. They'll regroup and come back in 2021, hopefully stronger than ever, with the virus hopefully a distant memory, and then we can kind of proceed from there.
Yeah, and I know a lot of the smaller local businesses are struggling right now because of the virus, and you recently teamed up with some other local leaders like Jasper Mayor Dean Vonderheide and Huntingburg Mayor Danny Spinner for the Together We Thrive campaign. Can you tell us more about that?
Well, this was something that came together. There was a group of us that have, at one time it was daily, now it is weekly sessions with the Du Bois County Health Department, trying to keep tabs on the impact of COVID-19. What kind of positive cases are we seeing or not seeing, as the case was, and then how can we go forward the best way we can to assist in these efforts. We had a subcommittee from that group just been about 3 weeks ago, I believe, at maximum, to come up with a reopen committee, because we knew the clock was ticking on when the governor's executive order was to expire. How could we assist local business, depending on what the governor chose to do, as they were given opportunity to reopen? How could we assist? And Mayor Spinner in Huntingburg got a contact from Brian Craig at Woods Printing. He just kind of reached out and made his business available for printing of material, signage, and things of that nature. We had a Zoom call, I believe it was the very next day, and he was a part of it, and we went over a lot of the materials. Okay, what do the business people need? The actual employees, the owner and the employees, what do they need for their staffs? And then also, depending on what the guidance from the state was, how can they best decide how to reopen? Do they wait a little longer until they can get a few more people in? Was it based on how much square footage you had? Was it based on your seating capacity? All of those decisions had to be made. And so we put our heads together working with the health department, the chambers of commerce, and came up with a lot of great information. I have to really tip of the hat to Sean Warner from the health department for coming up with a lot of these details. And they came up with the packet, which has been distributed, I believe, or is soon to be distributed to most of the businesses in the county. A lot of the distribution is being handled by either the Jasper or the DuBois County Chambers of Commerce, getting materials out to their actual members. If there are businesses who are not members of the chamber but want to get one of those packets or a couple of them, depending on where they're located, they can stop by the City Hall in Jasper, Huntingburg, Ferdinand Town Hall, and pick up a packet. They've got window clings that go on the door that, in a sense, let people know we're open for business, but we're being cautious with things. And the packets inside, a lot in terms of what to do, how to do, when to do, a lot of the same health tips that were being promoted throughout the course of the stay-at-home order. Washing your hands, wearing your masks. Don't go out unless you have to. Try to maintain your social distancing. And if you don't feel well, stay home. A lot of the kind of the common sense things that had already been touted, we were re-promoting again, but doing it in conjunction with the businesses and trying to find that middle ground where they could reopen and feel safe doing it, and at the same time, customers would feel safe coming into a business that has reopened, trying to hit the best of both worlds. And I think we've come up with a pretty good plan of attack on that in terms of the guidelines to follow, even though business is now, in some regards, with food establishments are starting to reopen at, I believe it's 50% capacity. Some people aren't going to go out yet. They just, whether it's because of their age or their health, or they just want to play it safe, feeling like, yeah, I'm fine, but what if someone who isn't fine comes in? I don't want to expose myself. So there's going to be a lot of people being even more self-cautious than usual. There'll be some who are wanting to get out and feel like, okay, now's the time. They'll follow the protocols and go from there. But have to tip of the hat again to the chamber folks, as also the health department officials providing a lot of this information. And it was all accumulated and put together in about a 2-day window at the very end of April. May 1st, which was the governor's expiration date on his most recent stay-at-home order, was a Friday. And so they worked diligently for about 2 days to compile the information, have it presented to the group so we could look it over, fine-tune or tweak some things, make sure we were satisfied with the information. And then that following Monday, Woods Printing started printing the packets. I believe they did 1,000 of them, and they have been distributed to chamber members. We have a handful of packets up at Ferdinand Town Hall. Huntingburg City Hall, Jasper City Hall have some packets available. So if you are a business owner who is not a member of one of the local chambers and you want that information, visit one of those city halls, town halls, during their normal hours of operation, pick one up, and that way you've got the packet. You can put the window clings on your door. There may be a need for I'll call it a reprinting or an additional run of window clings or other materials. I'm sure we'll be working on that in the coming days and weeks as well if the need arises. But
Well, thanks for joining us today. We've been on the phone with Ferdinand Town Manager Chris James. Thanks for tuning in for this week's Monday with the Mayor. You're watching 18 WJTS, Local People Watching Local People.